Is your anxiety disorder interfering with your daily life or holding you back from happiness and enjoyment? Do you find yourself becoming discouraged by your nervous, ruminating thoughts? An anxiety workbook is a great way to begin taking back the reins of your mental health. You can use one to complement other treatment options such as therapy or medication, or you can purchase one to do by yourself, at your own pace. We love the DBT Skill Workbook by Alexander Chapman for its focus on mindfulness and emotion regulation, sections that focus on different, specific kinds of anxiety disorders, and more. Check out what else made our top 10 list, and if you don't like our choices, read until the end to find even more helpful shopping tips in our buying guide. The first product on our list is the DBT Skills Workbook for Anxiety. Alexander Chapman, Kim Gratz, Matthew Tull, Terence Keane. This workbook focuses on a DBT approach to treating anxiety. It's geared towards people with diagnosed anxiety disorders, but it can also be applied to everyday anxiety. It goes through different key aspects of DBT, like mindfulness, emotion regulation, acceptance, and interpersonal relationship skills. It has sections about GAD, PTSD, OCD, panic attacks, social anxiety, stress, worry, and more. The book breaks down what causes certain conditions in easy-to-explain terms, and it also has a variety of exercises. Generally, people loved how this workbook helped them understand their anxiety. They said that the information and exercises helped them reduce their anxiety. Plus, they found this book easy to follow and very interactive. The second product on our list is When Panic Attacks. David Burns. This book has over 40 exercises that can help you manage your anxiety. It covers the basics of anxiety and helps you pick the best coping techniques for your situation. It focuses on catching different kinds of negative and unhelpful thought patterns, such as fortune-telling, all-or-nothing thinking, and self-blame errors. Some people said that this book has too much of an anti-pharmaceutical slant. But most reviewers loved how this workbook guided them towards relief, and they said the exercises were helpful. People found it helpful for panic attacks, overall anxiety and stress, social anxiety, intrusive thoughts, and even depression. The next product is the Mindfulness Workbook for OCD. John Hershfield, Tom Corboy, James Claiborn. This workbook takes a blended approach of CBT and mindfulness to combat OCD symptoms. It offers information on the condition and its symptoms. It also teaches you how to increase self-awareness and change unhelpful thinking. It also has sections on different iterations of OCD, such as contamination or relationship OCD. This workbook also covers aspects that some people may be uncomfortable addressing with others, such as stereotypically taboo and intrusive thoughts. Some people found this workbook a little confusing and complex. But, generally, people loved how much in-depth information there is on different types of OCD. They also found it easy to follow and insightful, saying it helped them manage their symptoms. The next product in our list is Coping Skills for Kids Workbook. Janine Halloran. This workbook helps children deal with anxiety, stress, and anger. It has over 75 exercises that teach kids coping strategies for dealing with emotions. The author, Janine Halloran, is a licensed mental health counselor, and she's worked with kids and teens for over 15 years. This book features sections on calming, distractionary, physical, and processing coping skills. It also has a section on other helpful resources for kids, families, and educators. A few people said this book is more of a strategy list than a workbook. However, many parents and therapists alike praised this book for its extensive compilation of strategies. They also liked that it can be used with different ages. Reviewers noted that kids were able to use skills from this book successfully, too. The next product in our list is Pregnancy and Postpartum Anxiety Workbook. Pamela Wiegartz, Kevin Gyoerkoe, Laura Miller. This workbook focuses on anxiety during and after pregnancy using a CBT approach. It walks you through noticing your symptoms, ways CBT and medication can help you, and modifying and coping with anxious thoughts. The book deals with different disorders and ailments, like PTSD, OCD, panic, and general worry. It also teaches you how to face your fears via exposure, reach out for support, and improve your resiliency for the future. There's even a section for partners that shows them how to be supportive. Some people found this book was too simplistic and heteronormative. But, overall, many parents found the CBT techniques helpful and easy to implement. They liked learning about the emotions they were experiencing, and many of them said the exercises helped lower their anxiety. The next product in our list is the Shyness and Social Anxiety Workbook for Teens. Jennifer Shannon, Christine Padesky. This workbook uses CBT and ACT techniques to help teenagers tackle shyness and overall social anxiety. It explains what social anxiety is, how it differs from regular shyness, and why it occurs in certain people. It also offers activities and strategies to notice your thoughts, challenge them, and eventually learn to change or cope with them long term. The author, Jennifer Shannon, is an LMTF and clinical director and co-founder of the Santa Rosa Center for CBT in California. A few people said this book might be too simple for older teens. Overall, people loved how informative this workbook, saying it helped teens break down their distorted thinking patterns. They also appreciate that it's easy to read and concise. The next product in our list is Retrain Your Brain, Seth Gillihan. This workbook centers around a 7-week plan, although you can go at your own pace, for treating anxiety and/or depression with CBT techniques. This book's knowledge is cumulative, and each section builds off of the last. Not only does it focus on the typical CBT model of noticing and changing thoughts and behaviors, it also walks you through time and task management and setting goals as you move forward. The author, Dr. Seth Gillihan, has treated patients using CBT for over 15 years. Some people noted that this book requires a lot of writing. But most reviewers loved how it broke down complex concepts into accessible language and divided the information into manageable sections. They said this book helped them notice their own thought patterns, too. The next product is the Mindfulness and Acceptance Workbook for Anxiety. John Forsyth, Georg, Eifert. This workbook uses an ACT-driven approach and covers many different conditions, including social anxiety, OCD, PTSD, GAD, phobias, and panic disorder. It dispels common myths about anxiety disorders and helps you implement mindfulness and fight anxious avoidance in daily life. This book also has exercises and strategies for day-to-day living and rewiring your brain. It focuses on increasing self-compassion, making peace with painful aspects of your past, and deciding what you want out of your life. Some customers felt like this book minimized how they felt and oversimplified anxiety. But, overall, people loved how well this workbook pairs with other treatment options, like therapy. They found that, if worked on daily, it helped them reduce the severity of their symptoms. The next product is Complex PTSD Workbook. Arielle, Schwartz. This workbook helps you assess your trauma and find relief moving forward. It also explains what CPTSD is. It uses somatic therapy, CBT, and mind-body perspectives to combat this disorder. The book explains symptoms that arise from this condition, such as depressive, avoidant, and invasive thoughts or behaviors. It also talks about installing positive beliefs, gratitude, self-care, and understanding the nature of trauma. Some people found this book was a little too simplistic in its proposed solutions. However, most buyers said this book gave them a great jumping-off point to use in therapy and liked how its examples are helpful without being triggering. They also said that it's excellent for addressing childhood trauma. The next product is the Anxiety Journal Corinne Suite. This workbook has a guided journal format. It's written by Corinne Suite, who has a PhD in psychology and has written over 14 books. This workbook has exercises and prompts to make you think, and it helps you reflect on your personal triggers. It includes everything from motivational quotes to mindfulness exercises to help decrease anxiety. It also gives extensive lists of symptoms at the beginning, so you can understand how your anxiety is affecting you. Some readers said that it's a little basic, so it might be better for people new to anxiety workbooks. But most customers loved the engaging tone and wealth of information. They also found the information and exercises effective for reducing day-to-day symptoms. Do you think this list makes sense? Leave a comment for us. You can find the product link in the description of the video. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with the latest reviews.